Thank you for joining us online for Snowline's annual Light a Life Remembrance event. And thank you to Snowline's team for the care and support you provide our patients and their loved ones every day. This is our second year in a row meeting virtually due to the ongoing COVID pandemic and public health emergency. Among the many challenges we've encountered during the pandemic, perhaps the single most difficult has been when visit and travel restrictions prevented us from being with loved ones when they were sick and dying. To those of you who experienced loss during the COVID pandemic or before, we are especially grateful you've decided to join us today, because while we cannot change the fact you've lost loved ones, Snowline is here to offer our bereavement support to you. After this event, if you would like to talk with a trained bereavement professional, you are encouraged to contact us at the numbers shown here. Alfred Lord Tennyson has a poem I'd like to share. I hold it true, whate'er befall. I feel it when I sorrow most. 'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Thank you.
Empty-handed I enter the world. Barefoot I leave it. My coming, my going, two simple happenings that got entangled.
Unable are the loved to die, for love is immortality. Nay, it is deity. Unable that they love to die, for love reformed vitality into divinity.
Want to know some of what death has to teach? Begin to look at endings. The end of an exhale, the end of a day, the end of a meal, the end of this sentence. How do you meet endings in life? Do you go unconscious around them? Do you leave, either emotionally or mentally, before an event is over? Or are you the last one in the parking lot, watching as the final participants depart? Do you feel sad and get teary-eyed about endings? Or anxious? Or are you indifferent, isolating yourself and withdrawing into a protective cocoon? Do you stop talking to others before the end arrives? When leaving work for the evening, do you say farewell to colleagues and clients? Do you wait for others to acknowledge the end, or do you jump the gun? Do you visit friends who are dying? Do you think it doesn't matter if you say goodbye?
Tulula in Heaven by Robert Burns. Thou lingering star with lessening ray, that lovest to greet the early morn, Again, thou usherest in the day. My Mary from my soul was torn. O Lula, dear departed shade, where is thy place of blissful rest? Seest thou thy lover lowly laid? Hearst thou the groans that rend his breast? That sacred hour I can forget. Can I forget the hollow grove? To live one day of parting love? Eternity cannot efface those records dear of transports past. Thy image at our last embrace. Ah, little thought we 'twas our last.
Everything will come apart. That is true of our bodies, our relationships, all of life. It is happening all the time, not just at the end when the curtain falls. Coming together inevitably means parting. Don't be troubled. This is the nature of life. Our lives are not solid and fixed. Knowing this intimately is how we prepare for death, for loss of any kind, and how we come to fully embrace constant change. We are not just our past, we are becoming. We can release grudges, we can forgive. We can free ourselves of resentment and regret before we die. Don't wait. Everything we need is right in front of us. Impermanence is the doorway to possibility. Embracing it is where true freedom lies.
So some of my experiences just in the last year have really been different in the sense of having a few people that I've come really close to with our hospice services. Some of the patients have just been a little more tender, and they've not only been a little bit more significant to me because I've felt closer to them, in the sense that one lady I got to serve, who we had actually just served her mom the previous year, and she was the caregiver, and then she came on our service as a patient. But the reminders and things that it brought up for me personally too, with my own previous losses in my past, of good friends that I have had that were close to me, that it triggered for me. It's interesting how different losses can affect us differently, and that we have those moments, I think, to remind us of those people, you know, to help us to not forget who those people were. That's been really telling for me this year, in watching myself grow in the way that I do my own personal grief work. I've also found it interesting as I've come to know people or work with people who I have known from my past that are on hospice services, because my territory is an area where I've grown up in this area, and I've met a lot of these people already in my past, and then I show up and get to be their social worker. And it's been more unique this year in seeing how I can be there to support and uplift them, and maintain my own boundaries of my role as a professional at the same time. I'm grateful especially for the support of my coworkers this year. I think I've had lots of coworker help in ways that I didn't know that I needed. So that was surprising to me, because usually it's more of an independent thing. And it's been good to see that you don't have to go through those things by yourself, that there's always other people around you to help and hold your hand and lift you up and get you through it, even when you think you don't really want it or when you don't need it. So that's been a good thing for me as well. And yeah, I think that's my thoughts really just remembering those who I've served and who have been in my past who were important to me, as well as just being a part of this organization and getting the chance to be so deeply involved with it. It's a blessing to me in my life, for sure.
Johnny, the kitchen sink has been clogged for days. Some utensil probably fell down there. And the Drano won't work but smells dangerous, and the crusty dishes have piled up. Waiting for the plumber, I still haven't called. This is the everyday we spoke of. It's winter again, the sky's a deep, headstrong blue, and the sunlight pours through the open living room windows because the heat's on too high in here, and I can't turn it off. For weeks now, driving or dropping a bag of groceries in the street, the bag breaking, I've been thinking, this is what the living do. And yesterday, hurrying along those wobbly bricks in the Cambridge sidewalk, spilling my coffee down my wrist and sleeve, I thought it again and again later when buying a hairbrush. This is it. Parking, slamming the car door shut in the cold, what you called that yearning, what you finally gave up. We want the spring to come and the winter to pass. We want whatever to call or not call, a letter, a kiss. We want more and then more of it. But there are moments, walking, when I catch a glimpse of myself in the window glass, say, the window of the corner video store, and I'm gripped by a cherishing so deep for my own blowing hair, chapped face, and unbuttoned coat that I'm speechless. I am living, I remember you.
Hello, my name's Annette. I'm one of the spiritual care providers at Snowline. I wanted to share a somewhat different seasonal message with you this year. For various reasons, some people find wintertime and the holiday season a difficult, even painful time of year. It can feel particularly isolating when it appears that everyone else is making merry and getting together with friends and family. I'd like to offer an additional way to experience this time of year. December the 21st marks the beginning of the increase in sunlight as we gradually move towards spring, bringing hope and new growth. Lighting candles can be a way to remind us of this returning light. This short song acknowledges this annual return of the light. Light is returning, even though this is the darkest hour. No one can hold back the dawn. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep the light of hope alive. Make safe the journey through the night. Light is returning, even though this is the darkest hour. No one can hold back the dawn. Let's keep it burning. Let's keep the light of hope alive. Make safe the journey through the night, through the dark.
Despise not death, but welcome it, for nature wills it like all else. Live a good life. If there are gods, and they are just, then they will not care how devout you have been, but will welcome you based on the virtues you have lived by. If there are gods, but unjust, then you should not want to worship them. If there are no gods, then you will be gone, but will have lived a noble life that will live on in the memories of your loved ones.
The Robin by Khalil Gibran. O Robin, sing, for the secret of eternity is in song. I wish I were as you, free from the prison and chains. I wish I were as you, a soul flying over the valleys, sipping the light as wine is sipped from ethereal cups. I wish I were as you, innocent, contented, and happy, ignoring the future and forgetting the past. I wish I were as you in beauty, grace, and elegance, with the wind spreading my wings for adornment by the dew. I wish I were as you, a thought floating, pouring out my songs between the forest and the sky. O Robin, sing and dispense my anxiety. I listen to the voice within your voice that whispers in my inner ear.